This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover Captain Simian in the Space Monkeys. Joel.
Andrew?
You know what's surprising to me?
What?
We've covered almost 100 cartoons. Over 100, really.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is only the second time we've had an animated series about apes and monkeys.
Yeah.
This also, it hits my pet peeve of covering calling apes monkeys, although this one does have monkeys in them, so I give it a little bit of a pass, but only a little bit.
You get very technical when it comes to that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Okay, it's not that hard to remember. Monkeys have tails, apes don't.
Well, if I'm
Doesn't
not mistaken, I think they've got a variety of different primates.
Yeah, they do. They got a
in this.
I don't know, if I was an ape and somebody called me a monkey, I'm like, excuse me, do you see a tail on me? No.
I'm sorry. How dare you?
How dare you? That's offensive to my ape culture. I don't know.
Offensive to ape culture.
Yeah, that's man. A millennial ape. I'm a millennial, so that's okay.
There was going to be a culture war amongst different variations of primates.
Variations of primates. I mean, I would assume that there already are, but
I mean, I'm sure there is, but yeah,
you don't see them working together.
I mean,
I hope not.
I want to say that there's been some footage of different species of like monkeys and stuff like that walking together, but we could get very, very sidetracked.
But they don't work together as well as this ragtag bunch of simians.
Oh no.
This week we are covering Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys, a show I did not know existed, but it was not requested, unless it was. And I don't remember.
Honestly, it could have very well been requested. I mean, most of the times when we get a request from somebody, it's normally, they will send like 5 or 6 cartoons.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So
we just picked one.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's no telling. I'm sure someone has requested it somewhere down the road. The craziest thing is, Andrew.
So, congratulations, name redacted. We picked your show for this week.
Name redacted.
Name redacted.
The moment I looked up the characters in this show, there was this like hazy memory that came to me. Well, I want to say I saw it once on TV as a kid, but that was it. Like it was probably just like flipping through channels or something.
Yeah, possibly.
But I never watched it growing up. I really had no idea about this show until, we started talking about doing it for the podcast.
Very true. Well, without further ado, Joel, let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys.
Yeah, not much to it. More visual
Yeah.
than anything else. I give it about a 5, maybe a 6.
Yeah. Honestly, I would give it right there at a 5. It's not something that I would say I would look forward to. Like as a kid, if I was waking up on a Saturday morning and I heard that theme song, I'm not getting excited, if that makes sense.
I like that it was very like jungly.
Yes.
It's like every time that there's apes or monkeys, we always tend to lean heavy on the drums to associate that with them. So that's probably why I bump it up to a 6, because like you could hear it and you're like, oh, what's this jungle show? And then you see a bunch of apes and monkeys in space, and you're like, oh shit, I could get into this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like as you're watching it, you're like, this actually seems like it might be a pretty cool cartoon. Like you said, space. It's got like laser battles, stuff like that.
The villain is made of space. There's
which
something.
Is interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, how did this get made, Joel?
This show was created by a guy named Gordon Bresack.
Yeah, I looked into him. He made Pinky and the Brain and several other beloved.
So he didn't make Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain was created by Tom Ruegger. He was more known for his writing on Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs.
Oh, okay.
He won.
This is why you do this version of the research.
He won actually Emmy Awards for his writing in those shows. But this is actually his creation that he did. But before I give you like a little of the backstory on him, just to let you know, this show originally aired in 1996. It aired in August of 96 in the UK, and then in September in the US. Only ran for one season, 26 episodes. Had its last episode aired on June 21st, 1997.
Nice.
It was produced. I actually thought this was funny. It was produced by Hallmark Entertainment.
Yeah.
Monkey Shine Productions.
Perfect.
And then it was distributed by Bobot Entertainment.
Okay.
Now, aired in 96. Apparently, Gordon had thought of this all the way back in about 1986.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he spent,
in a way.
Yeah, he spent about 8 years just fleshing out the concept.
Okay.
Slowly over time. And then he actually approached some colleagues because he actually worked on Mighty Max. He's if you go look at the different stuff that he's worked on a lot of stuff that we've actually talked about.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But he approached some colleagues that he had worked on with on the show Mighty Max, who were working at the company Monkey Shine Production, pitched this idea to them. They loved it. I still think they loved it because, it's about space monkeys and it's Monkey Shine Productions.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that probably definitely helped.
Yeah, there was just like, we only accept monkey-themed ideas.
Like how Doug Bowser got his job as like the American president of Nintendo.
Oh,
like, I'm sure he's a fine businessman, but he was like, they were like, oh yeah, I got this in the bag.
They just pulled up a stack of resumes and they started flipping through the names and they're like, this guy's name is Bowser? Hire him.
Yeah, we can market this. Perfect.
Yep.
So,
but really from there, Monkey Shine Production, they liked the idea. Everyone thought, hey, this is a great idea. It's going to be huge. So they actually started just, working with him to come up with some like rough sketches, some like storyboard ideas, and that's just where they went to Hallmark Entertainment. The moment Hallmark Entertainment saw it, they said, "We love this idea. This is going to be the next big cartoon. Let's sign you on the spot." Then they started working with, I think it was Mattel, to get toys.
Oh yeah, you gotta have toys. This is a Reagan episode through and through, and a TMNT ripoff. I'm calling that one.
I saw a interview with one of the head writers of the show, and she basically talked about how the show was basically just like a collection of all the current sci-fi themes that you would see at the time.
They make a lot of references, mostly sci-fi. I think the strangest one was they make a reference to Casablanca, but
I mean, and honestly, if you think about it, think about Animaniacs,
right?
Like it's that same kind of humor. You've got that pop culture humor throughout this show.
It's a lot like Road Rovers to me, just because they're a super group.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're a super group. Road Rovers was a super group, so it's like it's a more funny, topical action comedy.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I could see that. Which it's funny because you think about Road Rovers. That had a lot of the same people that did Animaniacs, was put on by WB.
Right.
But this is one that, hey, one of the, head writers of Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs, this was like his almost before he got onto those roles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But sadly, it didn't last very long.
No.
What they thought was going to be the golden ticket or the golden monkey, as some say, didn't turn out to be that way for them.
It had all the fixins, so to speak, to be the next hit, I think.
In making fun of sci-fi?
Well, just like it's sci-fi, people love monkeys and apes.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty funny. Like it's not a cringy show. It's not like most shows that sell you action figures. That's not the main focus of the show. The show is actually exists to entertain you and then sell you action figures second, which I feel like is an important thing with these shows, because a lot of them, like you got your Street Sharks, Cowboy Cows and Moo Mesa, they existed to sell the product. This exists and has product to sell. And I feel like that's a big difference between this and a lot of the shows that we've covered in the past.
But I think that was probably also the downfall of this show.
Yeah, probably.
Because if you think about it, I mean, we've been doing this for far too long. We've talked about way too many different cartoons that kind of follow that same pattern, and it seems like if you was going to make a cartoon in the 90s, you had to go at it with the idea of, we're going to sell a toy first.
You got to hawk some plastic at the kiddos.
Exactly. It's not like, I feel like nowadays people actually just really appreciate a good story, like something that
I agree.
Entertainment.
I agree.
Yep. But Andrew, hit me with some of the voice actors in this.
There are some surprises in this one.
Okay.
So for Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys, we have Jerry Dole as Captain Simian. Karen Murama is Shaolin.
Okay.
Maurice LaMarche is Dr. Splitsy 838. Hollow Boone. James Avery is Gorilla. Michael Dorn is Nebula. Dom Ira is Spydor. Jeff Bennett is Orbitron. And Malcolm McDowell is Rhesus 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I want to say we have talked about my Malcolm McDowell once before.
God, I really want to.
There's one
remember.
episode where I swear we mentioned him. Listener, go back and listen to every single episode we've ever done and tell me which one it was. Appreciate
for the cartoon dumpster dive super fan, please let us
go
know,
do that for us
because we can't remember.
Yeah. Have you ever had somebody? This happens to me a lot. They'll message me on something that I said on like an episode like a year ago, and I'm like, "What on earth are you talking about?"
Like,
and then they'll send me the clip. I'm like, "No, I guess I did say that."
I mean, you do realize that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's like that's new to you. I said that a while ago. I don't even remember what I say like last week. I won't remember what I say when this goes out on Wednesday.
But don't tell my wife, because I tell my wife constantly I remember everything. But truth is,
good thing you didn't say that on something that was like a recording.
I know. Well, she won't ever listen to this.
Nah, she don't listen to this. So for their other works, we have Jerry Dole is Michael Garibaldi in Babylon 5.
Okay.
Karen Mariyama is Pan Ho in Black Jesus.
Oh, okay.
You've never watched Black Jesus on Adult Swim? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about it.
Maurice LaMarche is Big Bob in Hey Arnold. James Avery is Sam in Grey's Anatomy. One episode. Okay. My wife's been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, so that shout outs for her, even though she don't listen, which is fine. Michael Dorn is Worf from Star Trek.
Okay.
Dom Ira is the Nose in Bob's Burgers. Jeff Bennett is Chuskus in Adventure Time. And finally, Malcolm McDowell is Varney, the Cockney vampire from the Castlevania series.
All right.
So one thing way up top.
Not a bad Not
no,
a bad
not a bad
lineup.
cast at all, and actually very good voice acting.
Yep.
Like this show, I wish it were more popular and had like a following.
Yeah.
My guess is maybe a network. The network it's on, there was something more popular competing against it. I will say Malcolm McDowell, I feel like that man has more fun voice acting than most people do in their lifetime. He doesn't do a lot of cartoon work, but every time he does, you can tell he's having a ball. His character is a genetically modified ape, but he can take out his brain and put in another brain to get like better ideas. And it's just constant with the like brain puns. You'd love it.
I think he, because I've seen him in like very serious movies. Yeah. But I always enjoy him in a movie where or some sort of show or something where I feel like they allow him to just cut up and like just have fun.
Yeah. Jeff Bennett, he always does well. Same thing with Maurice. James Avery does a really good job of being like, so the gorilla, he's a pacifist, and also when he was getting his brain amped up, he was too strong and he broke the machine, so he's still kind of stupid. And he plays like the gentle giant very well.
Okay.
Versus his other role, which is the Shredder. I believe last week we talked about the guy who did the voice of Krang. But
yeah, we did.
And so this show has a very interesting concept. I actually really like it. So what happens is the first Captain Simian, Captain Chuck Simian, is one of the few apes. He's an ape. Can't cross myself up on my own fucking
Look at
thing,
that.
can
Even you are doing it, Andrew. Andrew made such a big deal about it at the beginning of this episode.
I think I did that the last time I did this too. Like the last time I made a big stink about apes versus monkeys, I fucked it up then too. So that's just egg on my face forever. So that ape gets shot into space, and a malfunction happens, and he gets frozen in space forever, or not forever, but he basically drifts off into like smack dab into the center of the universe. Okay. And these beings called and they have a pause like that in the show because their names, they have evolved to the point where their names can't be said out loud. They can only be transferred psychically.
That's hilarious.
So there's no way to say it. This show's got this show has really clever running gags.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what they do is they mistake Chuck as Earth's most dominant species.
Okay.
And so they hyper evolve him, and then he picks a crew of a spider monkey from New York, a golden snub-nosed monkey from China, who is a gorilla from somewhere, and he was in the jungle. I know that much.
The Congo.
And then finally an orangutan from the zoo.
Okay.
And so they all get their brains juiced up, so they're smart. And so you have the one thing that made me laugh is like all the male characters from going from ape to smart ape, like they had a little bit of a design change. Not the woman monkey. She looks like a woman with a monkey face before and after evolution.
So what you're telling me is
she's furry bait. 100%. And I love our furry fans, but like you definitely know where they got it from. Like most of the time, like doing this show for as long as we have, like I get it. I guess if they're drawn like that, what else are you gonna do? Like you just you didn't touch grass enough. I don't know, but they for the most part they ain't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So if you wanna be aroused by a monkey lady with yabos, that's your business. So they all have to fight against this guy named Nebula. Nebula, in the first episode, he's like a big black hole, and his whole goal is to become a big enough black hole to destroy the universe and then remake it in his image. Well, they stop him in the first episode with a disco ball, and they make him human, but he's still got like space powers. So the one running joke with him that I liked is in his black hole form, he was like a gas giant. You know, black holes are made of like gas or whatever. I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson. I can't explain a black hole.
I mean, I don't know.
It's a imploded star. Something like that. Someone smart can just message me what the fuck it is, or I'll Google it when I'm done. I'm not doing it now, is what I'm saying.
If it's a imploded star that has this strong gravitational pull, is it really a gas?
Whatever it is, it's got gas, and that's what makes the damn running joke work. That he has he has gas, like he's gassy. He has intestinal stress.
Does he fart constantly?
He doesn't like fart a lot, but like there are scenes where he's like burping due to like acid reflux, or if he gets stressed out, he'll be like burp, or he's like constantly like going back and forth to the bathroom, and stuff like that.
That's funny.
One of the funniest jokes I think I saw is, so they get a distress beacon, and Spider, he's like this New York monkey. He's like, we got a distress beacon from the NC-17 Nebula. Oh, I don't think we're old enough to go there. So I was like, that's a clever joke for like space and a children's cartoon.
To me, that's that Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain humor.
Yeah, like this. You know? They have like every episode that I watched had really strong writing. It had there were several that were like sci-fi themes that people would be familiar with. They have an episode where it's basically they bring an alien egg on the ship and it's alien.
Yep. I was actually just looking through the list of episodes and the titles for each of them.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty funny. Like that episode, I'm guessing what you just described is the episode named Apelin.
Yeah,
like
Alien,
but Apelin.
Yeah. They're all ape puns. If you love puns, this is a show for you. I could only find a very like compressed, like definitely from a VHS, which made me kind of nostalgic because you know when a VHS is getting old, you see those two like magnetic lines on the TV screen. I was like, oh, that's from a bygone era that will never be seen again.
The one thing that, you know, I have no desire to actually figure out why it worked was the tracking on your VCR. I just remembered if you had that problem, you go over there and you press the tracking buttons.
And it would fix it.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know why, but hey.
Another thing that I enjoyed is that the ship's doctor and the ship's mechanic are the same ape. So the orangutan,
right?
The orangutan is Dr. Splits, and then his other persona, which is the mechanic, is Splitsy. And their whole gimmick is they have a split personality, but they also know the existence of one another. So you'll see them like argue with themselves, and they both have like personality traits, and they'll actually work together because Dr. Splits is kind of like not a man of action, but Splitsy is. So he'll be like, you take over and you fight these guys, and he'll be like, well, go ahead, Zig, you tell them, I will. And like Splitsy's also very country. So it's like, you know, Dr. Splits, he sounds like this. He's all proper and British. And then Splitsy comes in. He sounds like a good old boy who's filled with biscuits and gravy.
Boy, I wish I was filled with some biscuits and gravy right now. Let me tell you.
Who you telling? I'd love some biscuits and gravy. Always.
Any Southern
They would
person
probably
does.
like they love bananas. I looked up why monkeys and apes are associated with bananas so much, and the answer is because bananas grow near apes and monkeys
habitats,
and they're sweet and full of nutrients, so that's why you always catch one eating one. And I was like, I thought there was going to be a more deep reason than that.
No.
But it was not. The show did have sort of a cliffhanger 3-part ending. It ended, but it didn't end. It was opened up for like more episodes. It ends with Nebula being trapped in a sphere and Rhesus 2 kind of taking over if they did get more episodes.
Gotcha.
It would have been him as the main antagonist rather than a henchman. Unfortunately, this show, I guess it had its 26 and it was done, and it's a real shame because it had a lot of heart to it. I really think that Gordon put his best foot forward. Yeah, and I'm glad he waited to make the connections he did, because despite the rough copy in which I watched it, it was still a very good looking cartoon. You know,
Yeah.
it definitely was animated like Mad Max. So, and Mad Max had like a really
You mean
good
Mighty Max?
Mighty Max. That's right.
Yep.
I don't think Mad Max has a cartoon. That would be great.
That would be great.
But you know, that's really. I think if there was a way to reboot it, you could, especially with all the new sci-fi stuff that we have now for it to pull off of. And even more movie references. You know, I think that that would be pretty cool, but who knows? Everything animated is getting canceled right now. So
oh yeah.
like
Especially
Inside Job, it got canceled.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't find out this way, but it did.
Why? I don't watch every animated thing that comes out nowadays. You know, it's just impossible to do. But it does seem like the pop culture humor shows, like what Animaniacs created, basically what this was trying to do. It doesn't seem like those are around anymore. Honestly,
not too much. I mean, Animaniacs, even the reboot of that one is done. So.
Yeah, that's just because I don't know. It didn't have the same feeling. Something just felt
it's
different.
There's definitely a punch that's missing.
Yeah,
in these later things.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's old age.
Standards and practices isn't letting them get away with as much as you would like. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
But Joel, I believe it's time to go to your new reoccurring segment. Reviews that are going bananas and reviews that are a barrel full of monkeys.
All right. I don't know
which one would be bad and which one is good. I just know that those are the two.
Well, good thing we only have one review. Again, this is a show that honestly, I don't even know if I could say it has a cult following.
No, it was really hard to find the information on it.
Yeah, I mean, and every now and then we come across these cartoons where it's just it's just lost to the lost to time, basically. But this
lost to the sands of time.
Or some could say it got lost in the jungle.
Oh, I thought you were going to say lost in space. Both of those.
Damn it, that would have been better. Okay, so this is a 10 out of 10. Andrew, this is why you come up with the stuff on the fly. So this is a 10 out of 10 titled Adventures with Intergalactic Space Monkeys. What's Not to Love? I remember watching this show way back in high school. It was a great show that appealed to both my sense of humor and my childish cravings of action, fantasy, and adventure. The cast of characters were great. Their personalities were so varied and endearing, from Gore's innocent and gentle nature to Dr. Splits and Splitsy's interactions with his other personalities, the Orbitron and the Holoboons,
hologram baboons,
Holoboons were probably my favorite characters. Each episode, I always look forward to the maniac and often satirical comments of the Orbitron, as well as equally look forward to what TV character personalities a Holoboon would assume. I laughed my ass off when in one episode I witnessed a Holoboon acting as a caricature of Peter Falk's Columbo. It was really great stuff. I really would have liked to have seen this show last more than one season. It was a gem.
I agree. And the Holoboon running joke is that every time they get loaded up, somebody is always doing a different celebrity impersonation. So you'll hear like Don Knotts or Captain Kirk or I think Woody Allen was one because he was still cool and not a creep.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of love put into the show. So Joel, do you have any closing thoughts?
Honestly, because I did not watch this, but it is one of those shows where I'll put it on my long list of stuff to watch. Because just from the writers, the creator of it, I love Animaniacs and I love Pinky and the Brain and that kind of humor. It seems like it will be right up that. It's sci-fi. I love sci-fi. It just seems like it has all the elements I would love. So I'm going to watch it. And I think people should try to give it a shot because who knows, maybe we can get something going with it.
Yeah, I agree. I would say give this a watch. It's more well thought out than you'd think. Like, everything is built around the fact that they can use their hands and feet both as like opposable thumbs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the thought in the logistics of this show. Like, they weren't just humanoid monkeys and apes. Like, they were more ape than man. So they built the world and the ship around that rather than vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really appreciate when somebody like takes their time with their passion project and it's like, okay, well, they can do all this stuff. Like, a lot of the times the actual monkeys, they'll hang from their tails and they'll fire all 4 of their phasers at once rather than 2 because they can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really clever. This show is just really charming and really clever, and I wish I could find a better recording of it.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed what I watched.
Hey, Gordon, he took 8 years to kind of flesh out the concept of this. So
just goes to show you, if you're a creative, take your time.
Yep.
You might not make something that will stay forever, but you will make something that you are proud of.
Of course.
And I think, to me, it's a little more important than money.
Yeah.
You can't eat pride, but at least you can feel it.
True. You can also feel money.
That is true. You can feel money. Whatever. I thought that the first part was a good thing to end on, but we'll end on that. That's fine. If you would like to, speaking of money, if you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have a $5 tier that gets you any sticker we've ever made, along with access to a private Discord channel. We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can request a cartoon of your choice or have 2 cartoons go head to head in our junkyard brawl. We have a Twitter handle, cartoondd. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all Cartoon Dumpster Dive, full of memes. And as always, we appreciate any 5-star review you leave on the podcasting platform of your choice. So we're not lost in space, eating nothing but bananas. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya. Nice.
Thank you.
That was good.
This has been a Lug Hole Podcast.